blazing sun. Dust flies high when the race is won. The rubber burns on the asphalt plain. Full throttle outlaws breaking the chain. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Steel beasts crowd the thunderstorm. In the heat of the fight we take our form. The flag waves high as the green light call. We live for the rush, the rise, the fall. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Steel beats growl like a thunderstorm. In the heat of the fight we take our form. The flag waves high as the green light call. We live for the rush, the rise, the fall. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Racing the night, chasing the glow. Tires screaming, nowhere to go. Victory sweet, but the fight's the prize for the outlaws. The road never lies. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Built for speed. Built for speed. The engines roar on the blazing sun. Dust flies high when the race is won. The rubber burns on the asphalt plain. Full throttle outlaws breaking the chain. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Steel beasts crowd the thunderstorm. In the heat of the fight we take our form. The flag waves high as the green light call. We live for the rush, the rise, the fall. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Steel beats growl like a thunderstorm. In the heat of the fight we take our form. The flag waves high as the green light call. We live for the rush, the rise, the fall. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed.
Woo! Oh, baby, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here from Sonoma Raceway. It is the Moza 158 here with the Full Throttle Outlaws here this evening. So the Full Throttle Outlaws ready to go to battle, ready to duke it out here this evening, as starting on the pole here on a track that they're going to be turning left and right on here this evening. A little road course action for your Friday night here on Peacemaker Gaming, as it is the 29er Christian Strader will start in the pole position. To his outside will be that 6 ride of Matt Hayden. Starting in position number 3, that is Joe Yakes, who is outside in the Monster Energy. Number 23 is Charles Van Schaik. Starting in position number 5 in the number 5 ride, that is Rusty Modesty in that Sunoco number 5 machine. To his outside will be that it'll be the 32 machine of Hunter Carlson. Hunter will start there in that 6th position. Starting in position number 7 in the 08, that is the Detroit Lions ride of Skylar Berry. To his outside will be the number 3 Akeef Prince. Starting in position number 9 in the Lowe's 48 ride, that is the Jimmy Johnson throwback paint scheme here this evening. That is the 48 of Kyle Gray. Starting in position number 10 in the 36, it's Stephen Luttrell. Luttrell will start there in position number 10 here this evening with Colton Hardy there in 11th. To his outside will be that number 54 of David Traylor Jr. and Clinton Woodby. Bringing up the rear of the field here is a whopping 13 drivers. Get ready to rumble here from Sonoma Raceway is Christian Strader and Matt Hayden ready to rumble, ready to rock and roll here in these Gen 4 NASCAR Cup cars here this evening. Gonna be a fun show, gonna be an exciting show. Obviously, road course is always very, very interesting, trying to watch and figure out what these drivers are doing, how they're navigating this racetrack, and how they have to try to figure out these race cars as well. Obviously, newer to the sim, everyone trying to figure out how these things work, how they roll, and how you can find some speed or trying to put yourself into a good position out there on the racetrack. And that's where, tire wear, fuel mileage, everything kind of comes into play here throughout the day as well. As the pace car does head down pit side, they'll head down through corner number 11 and into corner number 12. Back to the start-finish line, and they will see that green flag fly. So we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here in the Moza 158 from Sonoma Raceway. As the 29 of Christian Strader sees that green flag fly, door-to-door Matt Hayden down through 1 and out of corner number 2. They'll head up the hill here and into corner number 3 and up and into corner number 4 here as the 29 looking to clear Hayden as they'll head down this big wide back straightaway kind of deal here in this one. So they'll head down into that little bit of a tight turn, the 90-degree banking turn right there, as these drivers going to quickly make that corner down through corner number 5 and into corner number 6, down into 7 here, and trying to make sure that they hit their marks here as they head down through corner number 8 now, down through 8 and into corner number 9A and 9B here on Sonoma Raceway, as each and every one of them looking to try to navigate their way through this beautiful, beautiful racetrack, man. This is such a fun track, such an interesting track, as they do close out of corner number 10 right there, down into corner number 11. This is a paper clip turn, so you really got to get onto the binders, hug these tires potentially, or right down onto it, and look out for contact, as there goes Rusty Modesty. Modesty goes around contact for the 5 ride. He'll stay parked right there, not wanting to pull down or into someone else's way. A tough break right there for Modesty's heavy contact there for him. Let's take a look. He's getting followed by the 23 ride here of Charles Van Schaik. Van Schaik trying to hunt him down, looking to try to make the move up into position number 4. Unfortunately, gets in there a little too far, doesn't get onto the binders quick enough, and gets a piece of that 5 ride. Unfortunately, clips him, turns him sideways and around right there in corner number 11, and that is definitely not an area you want to run into a problem early on in this race, as unfortunately Charles does fall back there as well. Then we see Stephen Luttrell. Luttrell going to run into problems here. The 36 ride trying to keep this car on the racetrack here as, oh man, just blows it through corner number 2 on the racetrack. Has to go up and through all that dirt and grass and grime and roll back up onto the racetrack here after losing a ton of time right there. Unfortunately falls all the way to the rear of the field. Not a early race issue that you want to have here, just getting off the racetrack. Now we do see Joe Yakes. Yakes running into issues here as well. Yakes looks like he's found the off-road incident here, and he's got some heavy damage here for Joe Yakes. Let's take a look here at this 87 ride as he's trying to get that Publix machine rolling up towards the front of the field, running in that 3rd position. Just gets in there too hot into corner number 10, washes up into the tire barriers right there. Heavy front end damage here, and unfortunately goes around again, slams up into the wall there on pit entry, and unfortunately some very, very heavy front end damage here for that 87 ride, and a little netcode right there affecting the 80 or 48 ride as well here. 48 really didn't get any contact into that, but unfortunately the netcode getting Kyle Gray right there, and Kyle ends up with some pretty serious damage on the front end of the Jimmy Johnson throwback paint scheme ride. As Skylar Berry, Anthony Karf coming in with the reactions on the broadcast. How are you, Skylar? Good luck out there, brother. Anthony Karf coming in with that thumbs up and the share on the broadcast as well. How are you, Anthony? Anthony coming in showing the love here this evening. As last time around, Christian Schrader laid down not only his quickest lap of the race, but everyone's quickest lap. Here, he is the fastest driver out on the racetrack, but Matt Hayden trying to stick right there with him. Both these drivers running very similar lap times, but so far, Schrader has been able to open up a pretty sizable lead advantage here between himself and Matt Hayden, and back down across the line, looking to lay down another quick lap time here this evening for that number 29 machine. He was able to run about 2/10 quicker than Matt Hayden right there, so he's still stretching out that race lead between himself and Hayden, as Kyle Gray all the way back there in position number 3. Skylar Berry in that Detroit Lions 08 ride rolls there in 4th. He's got the beautiful Studio 86 number 32 of Hunter Carlson right there on his back bumper. Then we see the 97 of Colton Hardy. Hardy rolls there in position number 6 now on the racetrack there for the winning bid diecast ride as he rolls in that 6th position. David Trailer back there behind him as he's in that Fubi, I don't know what that says on the side of it. Fury number 54 ride. The Fury 54 machine, they're in position number 7. Clinton would be right there with him as he's in the Wonder Bread Monte Carlo here this evening as he rolls there in position number 8. Rusty Modesty rebounding after that early contact and going around down through quarter number 11. Able to bounce up and back inside the top 10 as he's now back into the 9th position. Keith Prince there in that beautiful Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 3 machine in position number 10 on the racetrack. Stephen Luttrell back in position number 11 with Joe Yakes now into 12th as him and Charles Van Shank both went down pit road here. Early pit stops for these drivers, definitely not what they want to have here early on in this race. But luckily enough, we will see a full course caution flag, a full course stage break at the completion of lap number 15 for the end of stage number 1. And stage number 2, we will see another full course caution flag at the completion of lap number 30. So a pair of 15 lap runs here to the checkered flag for all these drivers. And that being said, you know that you can kind of figure out what your car needs, what you need to do, but in that final stage, being about 30 laps or so of green flag racing, it's going to be very, very tough. It's going to be very demanding on not only your car, your equipment, and your mental focus out there. These are very, very tough racetracks, not only mental but physical adjustments that you're going to have to make, going from 2 short run stints to all of a sudden having to make that long run 30+ lap run at the end of this race. Definitely could wear you out in a quick hurry, so you gotta hope that you can figure things out, have a good handling race car, and try to just take it easy, stay breezy out there, and just try to keep yourself pointed in the right direction, as it's easier said than done, as we do see Rusty Modesty off the track here as well in his 5 ride. Let's take a look at the Sunoco machine, as not sure if he just gets in there. Yeah, gets in there a little too deep, goes up and off the back corner there of corner number 2, and unfortunately does lose a position, but able to keep on battling, keep on rolling out there. We did see Keith Prince running into problems here as well. Let's take a look at Prince in this number 3 machine. Now, Keith's trying to roll out there, trying to battle with these guys. He's right there in the fight and just looks like he's getting back onto the throttle, loses that rear end, spins those tires, and car goes for a quick little loop-de-loop. He gets it rolling here. Luckily enough, the big parking lot there on the corner number 11 area, and able to jump right back into the action there without any issues, as we did see Keith Prince unfortunately having some more issues here as well. Prince having some more problems in that 3 ride. Let's take a look and see what happens. Same thing here. Just jumps up off the racetrack there in corner number 2. Luckily enough, keeps it out of the fence, out of those tire barriers, able to collect that car and keep on rolling. We did see unfortunate contact for the number 36 is Steven Luttrell. Luttrell in that 36 right. Looks like he's gotten a piece of some kind of contact. Looks like again gets up, almost gets over the little bit of a chicane right there and almost got some contact with that outside fence. But then, oh, the brake bites. Oh, that's a heavy hit right there for that 36 right. He quickly throws it into reverse, gets it off the racing surface, lets these drivers go by. That's a great break there for Joe Yanks and Charles Van Schaik, because they definitely did not want to get a piece of him here. But you watch this 36, he just sends it in here. You can watch this car just unload here on corner entry to corner number 10. Gets very, very tight, almost pushes up into the wall right there. Luckily enough, able to catch it, keep it rolling, but then down into corner number 11. Just looks like he locks up those rear tires first. The car just shoots around. Hard contact into those infield tire barriers right there, and unfortunately they do not move. They are absolutely solid, and unfortunately heavy damage there for him. And then he's going to run into some more problems here as well, as we'll take a look at some more issues for that number 36 ride as Christian Strader continues to lead the way. Strader out in front, 2.9 seconds, almost a 3-second gap now between himself and Matt Hayden as they complete lap number 7 here this evening. As Hayden rolls there in position number 2, all the way back in position number 3. It is the number 78 ride of Kyle Gray. Gray is about 7.5 seconds behind Matt Hayden here, over 10 seconds, almost 11 seconds back behind our race leader, as Gray rolls there in 3rd. Skylar Berry just about the same distance back there in 4th. He's got Hunter Carlson still right there with him. A sizable gap all the way back now to the 54 ride of David Traylor and Colton Hardy, and then another big gap all the way back here to Rusty Modesty, Clinton Woodby, Keith Prince back there in 10th, as you see Charles Van Schaik and the number 87 rider Joe Yanks. They continue to battle back here for the 11th and 12th position, as we see Steven run into some more issues here. Steven still trying to get this car collected, still trying to keep it out of trouble. Unfortunately, had went a lap down, has that very heavy front end damage after getting a piece of those infield tires. You can see that bumper still dragging on there, that left front tire just weeble wobbling. It's off the track a little bit right there. Still trying to make this thing turn. Unfortunately, just no turn in it. The car just goes dead straight here. Bounces off another wall as he tries to limp it back down pit side. Unfortunately, it is no easy task here. He's definitely struggling trying to get this car back down into pit road here, as this car just will not turn. And again, down through the banking here. He's still trying to get the go. He's trying to turn. Oh, just barely avoids contact with the wall right there, but then pulls up in front of a couple of our other drivers. Great piece of heads-up driving there for Colton Hardy and David Traylor, able to avoid him there on the racetrack, as we did see Colton Hardy run into problems here. Hardy goes off the track in the 97 ride. Let's take a look at the winning bid 97 machine, as Hardy just loses it right there. Gets onto the binders just ever so slightly, a little too hard, and loops that car around, gets pointed the wrong direction, trying to collect it down through all that, pretty much grass, but kind of like sand down there, and unfortunately just not a whole lot of traction. Unfortunately, spin the tires, go around there a little bit. It's very, very easy. Kyle Gray running into problems here as well. Looks like down into corner number 2 here. Another driver potentially just going up and off the racetrack there, just carrying too much speed through the apex of that corner and just washing up and off the outside of the racetrack. Luckily enough, able to collect it, keep it rolling. Not so lucky here, as we do see a couple other drivers run into problems. It looks like David Traylor in this 54 ride, the Fury Machine, is going to run almost into the same situation, just down through corner number 4. Oh, baby, trying to hang on to it, trying to catch it right there. Great job of keeping it on the racetrack and still rolling out there on the speedway. The 36 is Steven Luttrell. We're going to run into some more issues here. Same area, does almost the exact same thing, almost following right in the tire tracks of that 54 ride. Luckily enough, able to collect it, keep that car rolling out of trouble as of right now, as he had to go down pit side and really get that car repaired. Unfortunately, does find himself at least a lap or maybe even 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, as Chris Christian Strader. Strader out in front. Strader leading the way here. This 29 ride still opening up a little bit more of a lead. It's about 4 seconds now between himself and Matt Hayden, but Hayden could be playing a little bit of that strategy game, maybe taking it a little bit easier on his equipment, knowing that we will get that stage break here at the completion of lap number 15. So if you can take it easy, if you keep yourself breezy out there on the racetrack, not run into any issues, not create too much damage to your race car, maybe not burn up the tires as quickly as everyone else. Maybe that can leapfrog you. Maybe take a 2-tire strategy call, see how that plays out. Maybe take no tires and see if that works for you here this evening, as I'm sure we're going to see a couple drivers wanting to gamble here with these stages and really see what their cars can do and how long they can hang on to them if they take a different swing at things here with these stages to try to give themselves an advantage. Kyle Gray back there still in position number 3 is Hunter Carlson there in 4th. Skylar Barry rounding out our top 5 is David Trailer back there in position number 6. Modesty, Clinton Woodby, Colton Hardy, and Keith Prince rounding out our top 10 as Prince heads down out of corner number 10 and into corner number 11. Our 10th place driver rolls in, gets around corner number 11 nice and easy, back down into corner number 12 and across the start finish line here. And for our top 10 competitors, they have now all completed our first 10 laps of this race. As Christian Strader, though, out in front, he's looking to just kind of keep on rolling, keep on trying to put these drivers back there behind him, and maybe hoping to see if he can lap a couple more of these drivers out there on the racetrack before the end of stage number 1. But he's running out of time in a quick hurry. Alrighty, Strader out in front. He's got that Reese's Pieces machine out in front of the field, continuing to pull away, continuing to try to run away with this race, as he has been that reflection of perfection. Started in the pole position, has led every lap so far, and has this 29 ride looking like it is a Tom Cruise movie. It is Mission Impossible here from Sonoma. Is the 29 ride trying to hold all these drivers back there at bay, but for the 29, it's just trying to not make a single mistake out there. You got to be absolutely perfect. The narrow area of mistake is very slight here at a racetrack like Sonoma. One wrong move, one wrong corner where you don't give it your complete focus, your 100% commitment, you could end up down through that dirt, gravel, grime, that dust and sand and everything else that just really coats these tires. And once you kind of get into it, it's very hard to get out of it, or trying to keep yourself from running into more issues, whether it's looping the car around or potentially slamming into one of those tire barriers or into a concrete wall. Is something you definitely do not want to do out there on the racetrack, and we've seen a few drivers run into those problems. We do take a look back. Kyle Gray in the 48 ride. Gray's going to find out here potentially just how quickly things can go wrong, as the 48 sends it down into corner number 11, just gets in there a little too deep, up and into the tire barriers right there. A little bit more front end damage for the 48 ride. Luckily enough, able to keep it rolling, keep on battling here. Keith Prince going to run into problems here as well, as the 3 ride again down through corner number 10, and just gets in there a little too sharp, a little too quick into that all that mud and dirt and everything else, and luckily enough able to keep it out of getting into the wall there. Keeps it pointed in the right direction and keeps on rolling, as right now Keith scored back in position number 11 on the racetrack here on the racetrack. As we do see Colton Hardy now running into problems. Colton with a big issue out there. Let's take a look here at that winning bid 97 ride, as Hardy down into corner number 11, nice and easy out of 11, and not sure where the issue. Oh, there it is. There he goes around and down through the little parking lot here for the NHRA what do you want to call it, drag racing strip right there that you see down the front straightaway, just on the other side of the straightaway wall. You see that drag strip, and unfortunately for Colton Hardy, goes for that loop-de-loop, loses a ton of positions. You see that the 3 rider Keith Prince is right there as well. He's just going to move over, allow Prince to go by, and unfortunately for Colton Hardy, he slides all the way back now into that 12th position on the racetrack. Is out in front, it is Christian Strader. Strader continuing to lead the way. You can see that lead continuing to grow. He continues to run away from everybody else. There's a pretty sizable gap between himself and Matt Hayden. As Hayden on the straightaway here, down through corner number 5, you see this 29 ride virtually down into corner number 6 already. That is the gap here between these two. It doesn't look like much, but really when they start to get up to speed and you start to spread them out here, you can really see that accordion effect and see the race leader pull away here through these straightaways. And for right now, he could just be on cruise control. He knows he's got only about a lap left here before stage 1 comes to a close. As down across the line, we will click off lap number 14 here this evening. At the completion of lap number 15, the next time by, that will be our stage break for a lot of these drivers trying to play some of that strategy game. Unfortunately for Colton Hardy, as he does come down pit side, he does go a lap down right there. Schrader is able to get around him. The winning bid 97 heads down pit road as Schrader out in front knows that he's only got 1 lap left to go here in stage number 1. They're trying to earn himself some bonus points here on the season. As here he comes up to Stephen Luttrell. Luttrell just going to move up and out of the way there. Allow our race leader to go on by him there. Definitely doesn't want to be affecting our race leader's afternoon here at Sonoma Raceway. Good veteran move there for that 36 ride, as unfortunately he's early on down multiple laps here this evening, and that is a tough position to be in. As Christian Schrader, nice and easy down through corner number 6, hands down through 7 and 8 here at the beautiful Sonoma Raceway, hands down into corner number 9 and 10 out there on the racetrack, is down through 9 and 10 right here on the big hill here, all the way down back into corner number 11, into that pin turn right there as you see him head down through 10 and now into corner number 11. This is that pin turn that we talk about. As you gotta head in there, you gotta really get onto the binders, get checked up, and look that yellow and blue barrier right there. Just try to keep your car underneath of you, not go around. And luckily enough for the 29 ride, no mistakes here at all in our first 15 laps of this race, and that will bring out our first caution flag of the day, as that is going to be our stage number 1 into the history books. So stage 1 done here this evening. Christian Schrader with the race lead. Matt Hayden there in second. Hunter Carlson, Kyle Gray, Skylar Berry, Rusty Modesty right now our top 6 out there on the racetrack, as these drivers all get a battle back to the line. It is our top 10 that have to finish this first stage to be able to see that caution flag come out. As Modesty, Berry, 5 and 6 out there on the racetrack, back down across the line. That's where they'll finish, as Hunter Carlson up in third. Heck of a run there for Carlson. Kyle Gray there in fourth. Modesty, Skylar Berry, David Traylor Jr., Clinton Woodby, Charles Van Schaik, and Joe Yanks rounding out our top 10 here as our caution flag will be displayed, and our first stage break of the day is upon us. So our first stage break here this evening, as we did see just before that stage come to a close, Stephen Luttrell running into some more issues here, letting some of our race leaders and our second place driver go around him here. He's just trying to keep that car pointing the right direction and out of trouble. Unfortunately going to step on the throttle right there, swings that car sideways, gets to a stop, but luckily enough, no contact. It will keep on rolling and keep himself out of trouble here in this one. As we'll get them all ready to rumble down pit road here. Maybe we'll see some drivers make some, bold strategy calls. Other drivers potentially going to try to play things a little bit easier, a little bit safer out there on the racetrack to try to either consume and try to, have those extra tires late in the race, or potentially just trying to set yourself up here for a good second stage of the day, knowing that in 15 laps, at the completion of lap number 30, we will see our second stage break of the day to really split up this first half of the race. As we'll get them all ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to rumble here and see them head down pit sign, get some work done, get some service done, and hope to keep on battling here this evening for another amazing day of racing action. As we'll be right back here in just a second, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't go anywhere, as you do not want to miss out on this amazing racing action here with the Gen 4 NASCAR Cup Cars, here with the Asphalt Outlaws here from Sonoma Raceway in the Moza 158 here this evening. We'll be right back here in just a couple moments.
The engines roar around the blazing sun. Dust flies high when the race is won. The rubber burns on the asphalt forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle, outlaws built for speed. Built for speed. Built for speed. The engines roar around the blazing sun. Dust flies high when the race is won. The rubber burns on the asphalt plane. Full throttle outlaws breaking the chain. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Steel beasts crowd the thunderstorm. In the heat of the fight we take our form. The flag waves high as the green light call. We live for the rush, the rise, the fall. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Steel beats growl like a thunderstorm. In the heat of the fight we take our form. The flag waves high as the green light call. We live for the rush, the rise, the fall. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Racing the night, chasing the glow. Tires screaming with nowhere to go. Victory sweet, but the fight's the prize for the outlaws. The road never lies. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline pumping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Built for speed. Built for speed.
Alrighty, the lights are off the official iRacing pace car, and that means we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here this afternoon, or this evening, I guess now. It is 8:30, so this evening we are getting ready to go to battle. We are going to get ready to duke it out here once again. Looks like it may be single file here for this restart as the 29 rider Christian Schrader has the race lead. He'll get ready to set these drivers back loose. He'll get ready to try to open up that big lead here, try to pull away and maybe pick up the win here in stage number 2 as well after picking up stage win number 1. There we go. We are going to see, looks like double file going to start to form here, so it looks like we will go double file again here in this restart. So our next stage going to come up in a quick hurry here. Looks like it will be about a 10-lap shootout here to finish off stage number 2 here this evening. So that end of stage 2 at lap number 30, at the completion of lap 30, that will bring us to almost our midway point. That will get us very close to it. Obviously, we'll get a few laps for the caution flag and everything else, and go back to green flag racing for that final stint for about 30 laps of green flag racing. So right now, drivers should really get the idea of what they need to do, how they need to run that race, and see if they can just try to keep themselves pointing the right direction. And sometimes that may be the best and biggest way to try to pick up the win or get a good solid finish here, is maybe not running the fastest laps possible. Maybe just trying to be consistent, run solid laps, not make any mistakes out there, or allow the other drivers around you to make those mistakes and gain those positions off of their downfalls out there on the racetrack. As here we go down through corner number 12, we will see that green flag fly once again for Christian Schrader, and Schrader again sees that green flag fly as he heads back down through corner 1 and up into corner number 2 here, climbs that big hill. It will hit his marks perfectly, looking for a good run going down and out of corner number 2 as they'll head down this little bit of a banking here, back into corner number 3 and 4 as they climb back up another hill here at the very twisty, turny, hilly Sonoma Raceway. Back down the hill here into corner number 5. You got to watch that bump right there as you see both those right side tires up and off the ground there for the 29 ride as they head down and into corner number 6. Down through 6 and quickly into corner number 7 right here as they're going to head through 7 and corner number 8 into corner number 9A right here. So this is corner number 9A. It's a very long, windy one, and then they head into corner number 10 in just a little bit. As 9 has 9A and 9B. It's virtually 2 corners on itself, but they count it as 1, and then we head into corner number 10 right there. Able to keep those cars on the right side of the racetrack, able to keep themselves pointed the right direction as they head back down into the paperclip here, down through corner number 11. You see Hayden looking for a big run, looking to the inside here of that 29 ride, and for the first time here, they're door to door and potentially taking the race lead. It's Matt Hayden. Hayden will jump out in front and take the race lead away from Christian Schrader. So Schrader will slide back into position number 2 early on here in our second stage of the day. We'll have to wait and see if he's just trying to play with his food a little bit. Maybe he wants to try to chase a car out there on the racetrack, maybe see what his competition is doing so he can either learn maybe some good tendencies, maybe figure out where he's a little quicker, where he's a little bit better than Matt Hayden, and see if he can use it to his advantage. So early on in this race, still a lot of racing left to go. Probably not a bad idea to see what these drivers back behind you have your stable, but anytime you allow Matt Hayden to get around you, there's an opportunity you may never find him or get back around him out there on the racetrack. It's some great racing a little deeper here in the field as you see the 32 right, Hunter Carlson, Joe Yanks, Charles Van Schakel right there, the 48 rider Kyle Gray there, as well as Rusty Modesty can throw a blanket over those drivers as they continue to battle. Now we see Modesty run into problems. Modesty up and off the racetrack right there. Luckily enough, able to catch it, collect it, keep it out of trouble, and keep on rolling here as he does lose a handful of positions right there. We did see David Trailer also run into issues, and Colton Hardy here since that restart. Hardy in that 97 ride, the winning bid machine, up and through corner number 1 and 2, just loses that rear end. Car gets tight, washes down into the dirty stuff here, down into the sand and everything else, down through corner number 2 exit. Looking up, does collect to keep it rolling there. David Trailer unfortunately ran into some big problems here, as maybe contact, maybe a little help here. He's got the 23 right there with him as he's just trying to hang on to it. Oh, big hit right there for David Trailer. That's a heck of a hit right there, as I'm not sure if there was contact here between these two or not, but he's trying to just keep that 20 or the 54 ride here pointing the right direction, but trying to keep that 23 back there and big. Here they are, and just looks like he gets up a little high, then tries to turn it back, and I don't know what happens there, but just I don't know if he gets into a little bit of sand or something on the racetrack right there. Nonetheless, loses the handle of it. Hard contact into the outside fence there in corner number 9B. And unfortunately, all that heavy damage having to take that car down pit side. He has now found himself already potentially going to go a lap down here in this second stage of the day, is Matt Hayden and company not too far back there behind him, as Hayden last time around did lay down the quickest lap of this race. So since Matt Hayden had jumped out in front, has this car with some fresh air and everything else, now he is a man on a mission, and now he's starting to try to pull away from Christian Schrader. So we saw Schrader there in the first stage able to run away with this stage win early on, and then Matt Hayden here early in stage 2 trying to do the exact same thing here in this one. Looks like it may be a shootout between Hayden and Christian Schrader here this evening, as they've already opened up. It's only been about 3.5 laps since we saw that green flag come back out here, and for these drivers, everyone back behind these two is already about 7, almost 8 seconds back behind him, and it's going to grow to about that 8 seconds as there goes the 0-8 ride. Now look out for Joe Yanks, as Yanks gets sideways there as well. Heavy damage on the front end of that 0-8 ride, as let's take a look at it here. I'm not sure if he just gets a little loose here. He's up onto the banking here and just it gets in a little too hot, loses that rear end. Car shoots around on him, and then he just got his hands full trying to keep it out of trouble. Unfortunately, ends up looping around. Hard contact into the concrete barrier right there, and some some pretty solid front end damage, but luckily enough able to hang on to the brakes, allow all these other drivers to go by, as we did see as he was running into problems. Joe Yakes right there also ran into problems trying to avoid that number 08 ride. He sees him right there, turns it hard to try to avoid it, and then all of a sudden has the inside wall coming up in a quick Curry washes back up into the outside fence. Luckily enough doesn't collect any other drivers, but does knock that front bumper off there. Seems like those bumper covers can fly off easily on these race cars. As Matt Hayden, though, continued to lead the race. He was pulling away from the 29 ride, but Christian Strader battling right back here, right to the back bumper of that number 6 ride. We'll have to wait and see if Hayden can hang on to it, or if the 29 ride of Christian Strader can jump up and make that move and potentially get back around this number 6 machine for the race lead here this evening. As the Viagra ride, that Mark Martin throwback paint scheme machine rolls there in the top spot. Here at Sonoma Raceway, looking for a big win here in wine country as they head down through corner number 10. Nice and easy into the paperclip here in corner number 11. This is probably one of the best passing spots on the racetrack, where you can try to shoot it down low, open up that area where you can kind of build up that momentum down through corner number 9 and out of corner number 10. Try to find that extra speed that you need to either drive to the inside or just shoot it down low underneath of them and try to slide up and steal a position out there. So we had that inside advantage. Unfortunately could not take advantage of it, as Matt Hayden was able to hang on to the race lead. We're already about halfway done this second stage. The second stage quickly coming to a close here. It was about a 10-lap run shootout here in stage number 2 with that caution flag, and now all of a sudden here we go. Only about half of the way to go here till the completion of lap number 30, and these two just continue to lay down a torrid pace here. Over 11 seconds back, we see Charles Van Schaik. Van Schaik in the Monster Energy number 23 ride rolls there in that third position, but he's almost about 12 seconds behind our race leader now. Just showing you how strong Matt Hayden and Christian Strader are out there on the speedway, but they continue to just keep on pulling farther and farther and farther away from the rest of the field. Kyle Gray there in position number 4 with Hunter Carlson now rounding out our top 5. Denton Woodby there in position, in position number 6 out there on the racetrack as he jumps up into 6. We do see a lot of these other drivers trying to figure out their cars, trying to keep themselves pointed the right direction. You do see the 48 ride make a little mistake right here as well. Kyle Gray still in position number 4, as you do see Keith Prince up and off the track there at a corner number 10. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it, and you see this 48. We've seen this a few times, just gets in there, carries a little too much speed through that paperclip corner. Unfortunately gets up into those green tire barriers, does get a little front end damage, but able to keep that Lowe's ride rolling. Still in position number 4 here in this one, as you see the 5 ride here. Rossi Modesty figuring out and trying to battle here with Clinton Woodby. See Skylar Berry back a little ways behind them in that 08 ride. Keith Prince there in 9th. Joey Yakes rounding out our top 10, as Colton Hardy back there in 11th. David Traylor back in position number 12 here, and Traylor may have to be very, very careful, as he may become the next driver to go a lap down here in a quick hurry this evening. Only about 10 seconds away from potentially going a lap down. Is Colton Hardy now going to run into some more problems? Hardy here in that 97 ride sends it down into corner number 11 here, looking just to keep on keeping on and hoping to see that caution flag come out in a quick hurry. Unfortunately, we saw this early on with that 97 ride, just rolling back onto the throttle, gets onto it a little too hard, and unfortunately just spins those tires, loops that car around there. Luckily enough, able to keep it rolling, no damage, and able to keep on living another day here in this one. David Traylor also just trying to keep himself out of trouble here, trying to keep himself on the lead lap. Only has about 10 seconds between himself and our race leader now, as we do see Steven Luttrell running into some more issues. The 36 ride, who is the only driver right now currently a lap down, not wanting to go another lap down here, but we will see this 36 make another mistake as he heads down into the corner right there into corner number 11. Unfortunately, loops that thing around, and as he does get turned around, there goes our race leaders right on around him to put another lap down there for that 36 machine. Heartbreaker there for him as we'll keep on battling. We'll keep on seeing what these drivers can do here this evening, as we did see Colton Woodby. Woodby did come down pit road here before the end of this stage. No harm, no foul, as he was far enough ahead there and far enough from being a lap down that he was able to make that green flag pit stop, still come out of the pits and be virtually less than a minute behind our race leaders. But with that stage break coming up here in just a few short more laps, is down across the line, they will click off lap number 28. So we are 20 laps in. We only got about 2 more laps left to go here in stage number 2. So only a couple more circuits left before the end of this next stage. And right now it's still these two, Matt Hayden and Christian Schrader. They're still right there tight together here for this race lead and potentially for this stage win here this evening. They got about 14 seconds between themselves and Charles Van Shank, because Van Shank back there in position number 3. Kyle Gray there in 4th. Hunter Carlson back in 5th. Then we see Rusty Modesty there in 6th. Skylar Berry, Keith Prince are top 8. Then we see Joel Yikes rolling back out there onto the speedway there as Yikes trying to get that thing fixed up and back out there before potentially going a lap down here himself. Same with Colton Hardy in that 97 ride, as Colton also taking his car back down pit road here, as well as right now Matt Hayden still rolling out there and quickly heads down into corner number 10 here. And for a couple of those drivers that just came down pit side, they're going to hope they roll back out there before they potentially go a lap down here on the evening, as our race leader quickly rounding corner number 11 down into corner number 12. We do see Yates just rolling back out onto the racetrack here. Luckily enough, does look like he may stay in front of our race leader, but for Colton Hardy, he does not. Hardy will go a lap down right there. Tough break for that winning pin 97 ride. Now for him, that is still a very solid lucky break, as he's still the first car 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. Now he's just got to hope that David Traylor and Joe Yanks can hold off our race leaders, as Matt Hayden and Christian Schrader not too far away from them, as Hardy goes up and off the racetrack here. Those cold tires rolling back out onto the racetrack, unfortunately just getting onto it a little too hard, trying to carry that extra little speed up and off the track, and then loops it down to the infield, trying to collect it, trying to keep it out of trouble. Luckily enough, does roll back out onto the racetrack, but that could have been a whole lot worse there for that winning bid number 97 machine. As out in front, the number 6 ride, that is Matt Hayden. Hayden still hanging on to the race lead this next time, but the start finish line will conclude stage number 2 here this evening. Hayden trying to hold on to it, but Christian Schrader looking to take it back away from him here, looking to try to sweep these stages here this evening as they head down into corner number 11. That is potentially going to be the final passing spot that the number 29 ride could have taken advantage with out there on the racetrack, as the 6 ride able to keep it on cruise control, and he will drive home with stage win number 2 here this evening from Sonoma Raceway in the Full Throttle Outlaw Series. As Hayden picks up stage win number 2, we should see that caution flag. All right, we should see, excuse me there. My throat is very, very dry right now, and I don't know. Way better there, way better. As Matt Hayden does win stage number 2 here this evening, there is that caution flag. So stage number 2 is officially into the history books here this evening. Christian Schrader will come home in second, so they flip first and second here in our first and second stages of the day. Charles Van Schaik back there in position number 3. Kyle Gray there in position number 4, just trying to keep that 48 Lowe's ride still on the racetrack here, even though we're under caution. Still blowing it up and off the racetrack there in corner number 6 and 7. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it, not getting extra damage there, and keeps on battling here as he'll try to recollect with the rear of the field. Is Hunter Carlson there in 5th. Rusty Modesty running out our top 6. Skylar Berry back in 7th, even with that front end damage. In that 7th position, Keith Prince there in 8th. Clinton Woodby, Joey Yakes, our top 10 out there on the racetrack. David Traylor Jr. there in 11th, and Colton Hardy, unfortunately Hardy here is still scored as the first driver, 1 lap down, but should get the lucky dog in the wave around back onto the lead lap here this evening. So a great break right there for Colton Hardy. Unfortunately for Stephen Luttrell, he's not the only driver a lap down out there on the racetrack, and even with these couple stage breaks, has not been able to get a lap back there without taking a bold strategy out there on the racetrack. And for this number 36 ride, it's been quite a while since he was down pit road. He was last down pit side on lap number 6, getting repairs done to that number 36 ride, and he's looking to maybe try to use this caution flag as another opportunity to either get some damages repaired or try to get another lap back out there this evening, as all these drivers will catch up to our pace car, and that means we'll get ready to head down pit side here. Our pit stops coming right at you here as drivers getting ready to head down pit road. Now, this could be an area where we could see some strategy being played out, whether or not you take tires, save tires, or just try to get this thing full of fuel, or maybe try to make a big swing at things here. Maybe make some changes, trying to get this car more hooked up, more aerodynamic out there on the racetrack, or maybe just try to stay out, gain that track position in hopes that helps you out. But it looks like so far everybody on the lead lap is going to head down pit side. So here they come, nice and easy, down through quarter number 11 here on pit road, and back down into their pit stalls, being led by Matt Hayden, Christian Strader there in second, Charles Van Schaik, Kyle Gray, Hunter Carlson, Rusty Modesty, Skylar Berry, our top 7. Then we see Keith Prince. Looks like Prince is going to stay out here. Does not come down pit side, so there's our first driver to make a big gamble. We'll have to wait and see if he just elects to stay out for an extra lap or two, trying to lead some laps and gain some bonus points here this evening, as Prince will now be our race leader. We'll have to wait and see if Clinton Woodby, Joey Yakes, David Traylor Jr., Colton Hardy, or any of these other drivers elect to come down pit side, as it does not look like Clinton Woodby or Joey Yakes going to come down pit road here. They were down pit side on lap 27 and 28 just before the just before this competition caution flag here in the end of stage number 2 here this evening, so maybe pitting early, giving them that advantage where they can leapfrog everyone else by staying out there on the racetrack. As we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, how this affects this race and affects all these drivers and what they're doing or how they need to maneuver out there on the speedway. As here we go, we'll get ready to go back to battle in just a few more moments here. Keith Prince is currently our race leader, but we will see a lot of these drivers potentially go back down pit road, as Prince had not made his way down pit side. You do not want to be the lonely duck out there on the racetrack running into problems here with all these fresh tires right there behind you. So we'll have to wait and see what Keith Prince does. What's the game plan here for that number 3 machine? If he just stays out there, maybe tries to save some more fuel, or potentially tries to make a little bit of a short pit here and hope to get this thing fixed up and cleaned up and get that fuel that he needs. There we go. He's going to make that hard left-hand turn down pit side. I think he was trying to, hopefully, trying to lead a lap there in this race, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if that's going to play out for him, as we already see the number 6 machine of Matt Hayden around him. Here comes Christian Strader there in 4th. Hunter Carlson up and into 3rd once again here this evening. Great run for that Studio 86 run with Hunter, Rusty Modesty, Keith Prince, Clinton Woodby, our top 6, Joe Yakes, Skylar Berry, David Traylor Jr., Colton Hardy, the top 10 out there on the racetrack. Charles Van Schaik there in 11th, and Kyle Gray back in position number 12. As we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to go back to battle here in this one. Let's see if we can pull one of our drivers up here into the booth, as we got a little bit of time here before things go back to being crazy out there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can take a look and pull potentially one of our stage winners here. Let's get our stage winner here, the number 6 ride of Mr. Matt Hayden, up and into the booth. Hey Matt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got the book.
Matt, brother, heck of a run, heck of a drive so far for you, man. Take us back through this race and through those opening 30 laps here of racing action.
Yeah, I don't know if it translates on the broadcast, but it's tough, this new update, this new car. A lot of us aren't used to the grip level. We've all been complaining in our team that the steering, the wheel is just a little light. So you probably are seeing a lot of people drive off in corners instead of like I mean, don't get me wrong. There's enough power to loop the thing, but we're having a lot of problem up front, just keeping the front end bit into the track. So, man, I don't know. We're gonna have to hold off Christian here. I think he did us a favor and let us get a stage there. So I expect him to check out in these last 30 laps. So we'll give it all we can on the start and see if we can get the track position ahead of him. But if he gets out front, it's gonna be tough for the rest of us.
Absolutely. We saw that there in the first stage as he was able to open up a pretty massive lead over you and the rest of the field. But even there in that second stage, you and Christian both just pulling away from the rest of the field here. Looks like it is fully into your guys' hands. It seems to be your two cars. It's your race to lose virtually out there on the racetrack, as you two have been the class of the field here through this first half. Is there anyone back there deeper in the field that you're maybe thinking is a little bit more of a sleeper agent out there that could potentially jump up and race you guys here late in this race?
Yeah, I mean, watching, there's a couple of guys that, you know, in practice and in the race have been turning pretty quick lap times, but the biggest thing on these road courses is putting together laps consistently and not making mistakes. I mean, the biggest thing, you can run slow lap times, but if you loop it and lose 40, 50 seconds to the group without a caution, then you pretty much ended your race. So just keeping it clean. But yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm sure someone back there is going to go full send on this restart. So we may be having to play catch up.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing how it all plays out and hopefully see you right back up here in the broadcast booth here in about another 28 laps or so from now. So good luck, have fun out there, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here potentially into victory lane.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night if we do not see you up here.
Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Absolutely, brother. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for the 6 riders. Matt Hayden, our Stage 2 winner here this evening, jumping up into the booth and having some fun with us here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing in just a little bit. As the caution flag was extended, we got a little bit more time here, so we'll have a little bit more of a break before we go back to action here this evening as Colton Hardy trying to get himself back towards the pack here as he had to take the lucky dog right there and trying to catch up to the field, and they extend that caution flag there for him, and he's trying to hunt them back down, hoping to try to get a good lap in here so that way he can rejoin the rear of the pack and give himself a fighting chance here this evening of maybe trying to gain a couple positions or two. But for him, that's already working this race car, potentially already putting up his equipment and tires and everything else. So even though he's got a good car and everything else, I mean, that little bit of a disadvantage may hurt him here this evening. See him definitely pretty racy, hitting his marks, doing a great job here, obviously overcooking it maybe just a little bit, trying to play catch up here, trying to get everything he can so that way he can catch up to the rear of the field here before we do go back to green flag racing, as the 97 trying to play that catch up game here to try to keep himself out of trouble and hopefully not going to wreck himself during the yellow flag. We've seen that a few times here at Sonoma, as he's still got quite a ways here to try to catch up to the rest of the field. He's still got quite a distance as the lights are still on the official iRacing pace car, so we still got a little bit of time here before we go back to green flag racing here in the Moza 158 here with the Asheville Outlaws Racing League. As Matt Hayden, Christian Schrader 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack, Hunter Carlson there in third, Rusty Modesty back there in fourth, and then we see Skylar Berry rounding out our top 5. Clinton Woodby there in 6th, Joe Yanks there in 7th, David Traylor Jr. back in position number 8 as Kyle Gray in the lows, Jimmy Johnson number 48 ride there in 9th, Keith Prince in position number 10 in that beautiful Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 3 machine, Charles Van Schaik back there in position number 11, Colton Hardy there in position number 12, and Stephen Luttrell bringing up the rear of the field here today. As all these drivers, they are definitely ready to rumble here once again. They are definitely ready to go back to battle here this evening. And as that 6 ride talked about, there could potentially be a couple drivers that are going to try to send it, maybe run hard here early on in the stage, trying to gain everything they got. And if they make a mistake, could quickly run over drivers in front of them, which could collect our race leaders. And as Matt said, you get collected into a issue out there. There's no full course caution, so you run into a problem. You have an issue, you just gotta fight back from it. You got to battle back, try to gain everything you can back out there on the racetrack, and sometimes that makes drivers push it a little bit harder and make even more mistakes out there on the speedway. So here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing as lap 36 is completed here. When we go back to green flag racing, it will be at the completion of lap 37. So I do believe we are going to get about a 26 lap run to the checkered flag now, 26 laps until we see that checkered flag fly here this evening. So still a longer run. We've only ran those 2 runs early on, that 15 laps to start this race, about a 10 lap segment there for stage number 2. So a couple very short stints early on in this race. This will be our longest run of the day for these drivers, and that's where fuel mileage, tire aware, game plan, situational awareness, and everything kind of comes into effect where you're really going to be perfect out there on the racetrack. As here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Everyone ready to rumble here. You see this 97 rider, Colton Hardy, still trying to play catch-up, still trying to catch that rear of the field. Unfortunately, looks like he's still going to be back there quite a ways as we go back to green flag racing. You see him in the background, way up there on top of the hill, trying to hunt these guys down, and he's going to run into problems here. We talked about it, trying to play that catch-up, and unfortunately making a mistake, just trying to push that car, trying to catch that rear of the field. Luckily enough, he's able to keep it out of trouble and not getting damage or anything else, but our race leaders, they do see the pace car make that hard left-hand turn, and as we go back to green flag racing, we will jump into the Peacemaker Gaming, crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume as we crank it up here at the Asphalt Outlaws here at Sonoma Raceway. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is the gap between first and second. Out there on the racetrack is a beautiful crank it up session. Here this evening is inside 18 laps left to go. Here this evening in the Full Throttle Outlaws Gen 4 NASCAR Cup Car Series here this season, as these drivers in a new car ready to rock and roll, ready to keep on battling here at Sonoma Raceway. As that 6 rider Matt Hayden. Hayden was our race leader, but during the crank it up, you saw Hayden unfortunately give that race lead away to the 29 ride, as Christian Schrader was finding a ton of speed at this 29 ride. Looked like he was just trying to play with his food there for a little bit early on in the start of this stage, and then all of a sudden just drove up and moved around Matt Hayden like it was nothing, and now has this Reese's ride back out in front and looking to try to run away with it. Almost almost a second and a half here, over a second and a half, almost 2 seconds, the gap between himself and Matt Hayden now out there on the racetrack. The 29 ride just continues to run these absolutely insanely fast lap times. Last time around, he was almost a second quicker than Matt Hayden out there on the racetrack. This time around, he is once again a good chunk of change quicker than that 6 ride. As Christian Schrader looking to just run away with this one. We talked to the 6 rider Matt Hayden there during that second stage break, and he talked about how he didn't want to see this 29 ride get out in front, and if he did, he was just going to run away with it. And now that's exactly what we're seeing, as Hayden still there in second, trying to hang with them, trying to not let him run away with this one. They got themselves a pretty solid gap here, about 8 seconds behind our race leader is Rusty Modesty. Modesty, they're in position number 3 on the racetrack here. He's trying to hold off Hunter Carlson. Is Carlson right there with him? Hunter's been right there running with that number 5 ride, looking to try to move himself in this Studio 86 machine back up inside the top 3 here this evening. Kyle Gray back there in the 48 ride, that Lowe's machine. The Jimmy Johnson throwback paint scheme out there on the racetrack rolls there in the 5th position with Charles Van Schaik, the Monster Energy Ford Taurus number 23 back there in that 6th position. Skylar Berry there in position number 7 as his QH Designs Mission 22 Detroit Lions number 08 ride rolls there in that 7th position. Has the Fury number 54 ride. That is David Trailer Jr. rounding out our top 8. Keith Prince a little farther back is the Johnny Johnson Motorsports Chevrolet. That Monte Carlo rolls there in position number 9 on the racetrack. Then we see Colton Hardy in that winning bid die casting card breaks number 97 machine. That Ford Taurus a little tore up there, a little damage on the front end after having some issues here this evening for the 97 as he rolls back in that 10th position. Clinton would be not too far away from him as the Chevrolet Monte Carlo Wonder Brand ride, the Ricky Bobby inspired paint scheme here this evening, rolls there in the 11th position. Then down pit road, unfortunately, we do see Joe Yanks in his Publix number 87 ride parked down pit road. Same with Stephen Luttrell there in that beautiful this side up high mom number 36 ride back there in that 13th position. As Stephen unfortunately running into some more problems here. Him and his Ford have not had a great day at the racetrack, obviously running into issues early on and then having more problems as he heads down into corner number 11 right here. Again, just looks like he's going to lose that rear end, goes down the racetrack, and he loops it around. He just ends up clobbering those tires. This is the second time we saw him do that. This is definitely a way to tear up your race car, and really this is going to hurt a lot as these things do not move. Those tire barriers, they are like concrete bunkers right there, and unfortunately for that 36 run, he just drove virtually head on into one right there. Heavy damage, and unfortunately gonna have to take that thing down pit side and off the racetrack here, trying to get that repaired. He may be down there for quite a while, as we did see Colton Hardy running into some more issues here. Let's take a look here at the 97 ride as he's trying to hang on to it, trying to keep this thing pointed the right direction. Sends it down into corner number 6 as he sends it into 6. Gets up onto the banking right there, up onto that chicane. Unfortunately, just loses the rear end. Car goes around, does a quick little loop-de-loop, rejoins the field here. It's a very lucky break. He didn't make any extra contact or get more damage there on that 97 ride, but does lose a position to Clinton Woodby and now finds himself outside of the top 10 on the racetrack. As Christian Strader continuing to lead the way. We do see Colton Hardy now taking his ride down pit side as he does fall a lap down here once again. We do see Rusty Modesty also coming down pit road. So this is really telling me that these drivers probably can't make it here on fuel. So a lot of drivers coming down pit side, making pit stops here. Some of them earlier than others, hoping that maybe that little extra tire can help them out. But I don't think tire wear is going to play a major factor, but that fuel mileage definitely can. For a lot of these drivers, they are trying to hit their marks, try to keep themselves pointed the right direction, as we now finally see another driver run a 17-lap second lap here as the lowest number 48 ride. Seems like Kyle Gray really starting to get the hang of these rides and hang of this racetrack. Just laid down his quickest lap of the race, a 1 minute 17 second and 0.63 seconds there. So a 17:63, that's a pretty good lap. It's not bad. That's one of our top 5 lap times of the day. We'll see if he can kind of keep that consistency up, continue to run some good laps like that, and maybe find some more and more speed of this 48 ride and see if he can join the fight up towards the front of the field, as the quickest lap of this race does belong to our race leader, the 29er, Christian Strader, as he was hunting down Matt Hayden, ran a 1 minute 17 second flat lap time. Absolutely blazing fast lap out there. He's about a quarter of a second faster than anyone else's fastest lap time out there on the racetrack. Is he stays out here, and a couple drivers back behind him elect to come down pit side. Here comes Matt Hayden. Hayden takes his Mark Martin Viagra number 6 ride down pit side. Hunter Carlson in his Studio 86 and number 32 also down pit road. Here comes Skylar Berry, the Detroit Lions QH Designs number 08 ride, also down pit road here in this one. So a lot of different drivers making these calls, coming down pit road, trying to make these pit stops, knowing that they probably aren't going to make it on fuel, so they have to get down pit side, have to use it to their advantage. With only 13 laps left to go, 12 next time by the start finish line for this 29 ride. And obviously everyone just knowing that they can make it to the end here on fuel. They should be a-okay. They shouldn't run into problems, and they should be able to make it here on that one pit stop, but you just cannot make a mistake down pit road. It's such a big racetrack and everything else, and you run into an issue, you come down pit side, you speed down pit road, or you miss your pit stall or anything else, you could all of a sudden find yourself in a very, very tough position, having to make another green flag pit stop, or potentially having a penalty and being held down there on pit road. It's a tough track to try to regain all that track position, regain those positions out there on the racetrack, and you just cannot have those mistakes here this evening as Christian Strader continues to lead the way. Kyle Gray there in position number 2. Charles Van Schaik there in third, with David Traylor back in fourth. Now I do believe all of our top 4 drivers will still have to make another pit stop here. As here comes Traylor now down pit side. So David Traylor Jr. does head down pit road, as we do see Hunter Carlson. Carlson able to get a great pit stop in the number 32 ride. Comes out of the pits in front of Matt Hayden. Hayden was our second place driver. This 32 ride was scored all the way back in position number 4, was able to get a better pit stop and leapfrog this 6 ride of Matt Hayden. Now he's trying to hold Hayden off and trying to keep that 6 machine back there at bay. We'll have to wait and see if he can hang on to that, maybe put himself into a winning situation. But as of right now, both these drivers, even after making those green flag pit stops, are falling farther and farther away from our race leader, Christian Strader. And Strader not done yet. He's not coming down pit side. He's just laying down great lap time, still running virtually every lap into the 1 minute and 17 second bracket here. Everyone else is running currently outside of that, so he's still just picking them up and clicking them off here, continuing to pull farther and farther away. And even though he may have to come down pit side and make another green flag pit stop, for all the drivers that are back there behind him, he's got a almost 22 second lead between himself and Kyle Gray. It's about 32 seconds away till you see this number 23 of Charles Van Schaik, and even farther back here to Hunter Carlson. Carlson, who is the first driver on the fresher tires in full fuel here this evening. He's that first driver out there on the racetrack that's made that additional pit stop here this evening. He rolls in that 4th position, and as of right now, he's about 47 seconds behind our race leader, so Christian Strader can almost come down pit side make that pit stop, still come out with the race lead, and still have a pretty solid advantage here over everybody else. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if Schrader continues to just keep on clicking him off as Hunter Carlson finding a whole different gear here, now running away from Matt Hayden. As Hayden, I'm not sure what's gone wrong here with that 6th ride, but for Matt Hayden, he's now fallen back into the 6th position as Hunter Carlson and Rusty Modesty have both gotten around that number 6 ride, and Hayden now back into position number 6 on the racetrack. Keith Prince there in 7th. David Traylor Jr. there in position number 8. Skylar Barry, Clinton Woodby, Colton Hardy, Stephen Luttrell back out there in that 12th position as Joe Yakes still parked down and off the racetrack, down pit road here, but out in front it's all Christian Schrader as Schrader continues to lead the way here with only 10 laps of racing action left to go here from Sonoma Raceway. This 29 ride looking to try to pick up the big checkered flag here this evening. He has been a man on a mission right from the drop of the green flag, looking to try to get there right to the checkered flag as well, not wanting to see another car get in front of him and take that race lead away from him. But he's also now coming into a little bit of lap traffic. Luckily enough, the 36 ride able to keep himself out of trouble there, not running into our race leader, as we did see. Unfortunately, looked like Matt Hayden here running into problems as well. So this is partially why we saw Hayden all of a sudden fall back into that 6th position, and Rusty Modesty getting around him here. He shoots to the inside of that 32 ride, trying to take position number 4 back away from Hunter Carlson, and then we're going to see Hayden just send it into the corner. Looks like he's going to get onto the binders, loops this car around, goes for that loop-de-loop, pointed the wrong direction here in corner number 6. There goes that number 5 ride. There goes a couple of these other drivers as well. Obviously lap down number 97 ride of Colton Hardy right there. So definitely a tough break there for him. And then we saw Stephen Luttrell unfortunately run into more problems here in that 36 ride as well, as he's trying to keep this car pointed on the racetrack and trying to keep it out of trouble. Ends up down through the dirt, grime, everything else here. Down out of corner number 6, 7, 8. Now just trying to keep himself out of the way of our race leader as here comes Christian Schrader. Schrader able to just move right around him there. No issues. Good break. Good little veteran move there into that 36 ride. See that our race leader was right there and moved down and out of the way for him. As we did see, Christian Schrader did come down pit road here. So Schrader did make a pit stop. Here he is coming down onto pit road on lap number 54. As he makes this pit stop, he's down in his pit stall. We are going to see the number 48 right there go by him and take that race lead away. So Kyle Gray will now be our race leader. Now I do believe Gray is probably going to have to make a green flag pit stop here at some point in time, but if he's got some fuel saved up, if he's got enough, he does now have about a 6-second advantage between himself and that 29 of Christian Schrader. Schrader though has about 6 seconds between him and our 3rd place driver Charles Van Schaik, and we talked about how quick he was running there after other drivers had made those pit stops. For Hunter Carlson, Carlson is still about 5th. Actually, he's about 15 seconds or so, 21 seconds still behind our race leader. So Christian Schrader was able to come down pit road, make that green flag pit stop, and still holds a 21-second lead between himself and Hunter Carlson. Rusty Modesty, Matt Hayden, they're all back there behind him, and he is just on cruise control, looking to try to just run away with this one, but he's still got to figure out a way to hunt down Kyle Gray and potentially try to take that race lead way back from this 48 ride, but hoping that Kyle Gray and Charles Van Schaik still have to come down pit road, make an additional pit stop here this evening as the laps continue to click down. Gray was running fairly slower lap times early on in this run. He was kind of a little bit off the pace, fell back a little bit farther in the field. He really wasn't pushing the subject, so maybe he was saving fuel. Maybe he was coasting it out there on the racetrack. Maybe he was able to save enough to make it to the end here this evening. And if he did play that strategy game, then good on him here playing that game and playing that opportunity that has arose into him to potentially pick up this win, as now he's really picked up that speed. He's been laying down consistent, 1 minute and 17-second lap times here, virtually not quite as fast as Christian Schrader, but enough that he's not allowing him to really gain a ton of speed and gain that gap here in a quick hurry. As down across the line, that will click another lap off, and as across the line we only get 7 more laps of racing action here. The gap is still just over 5 seconds between Kyle Gray and Christian Schrader out there on the racetrack. So Oh boy, it could be a nail-biter. If Kyle Gray was able to play that fuel strategy game and potentially steal this win away from Christian Schrader, definitely going to be a heartbreaker there for the number 29 riders. Now Schrader, he's given everything he's got. He knows that he has to get up here and try to beat that 48 run. He knows that time is quickly winding down, and he is really pushing the subject here, trying to find as much speed as possible out of this 29 ride, trying to catch Kyle as quickly as possible. Does not want to see that 48 ride out in front any longer. He wants to be able to try to pull away with this race win as Van Schaik there in third. He's got a pretty comfy lead here between himself and our fourth place driver, as he's got about 14 seconds all the way back to Hunter Carlson, but he's still about 12 seconds off our race leader, almost 9 seconds behind Christian Schrader, as Hunter Carlson, he's got a big gap here to try to gain and jump over that number 23 rider, Charles Van Schaik, to put himself up and onto the podium. Rusty Modesty right there with the Matt Hayden, who won stage number 2, had some pretty good ideas about how this race was going to play out. I don't think he had this one on the docket. We talked to him about potentially drivers back there that could jump up and make the move around him. He talked about consistency and how some of those drivers during that first run in the second run weren't really showing consistent lap times, but maybe they're all starting to put it together here. And for that sixth ride, there's wrong place, wrong time, making the wrong moves out there, having that issue and going around himself and not having that consistency on that lap could cost him a solid top 3 run here this evening, as Kyle Gray continues to lead the way down and through corner number 5, or actually this is corner number 6 on the racetrack. He's got less than 3 seconds now between himself and Schrader, so Schrader has really closed the gap. Last time around, Kyle Gray ran a 1 minute and almost 20-second lap time, so definitely about 2 seconds off of what he was running. He was running virtually the same lap times that Christian Schrader ran on that last lap, and then all of a sudden just gave 2 seconds back to the 29 ride, gave him that extra little bit of fresh air into his lungs here and give him that ability to potentially battle right back to the rear bumper of this 48 ride. And for Kyle Gray, he sees that orange Reese's Pieces machine getting bigger and bigger in his rear view mirror. He knows that if he can make it on fuel, he's still just got to try to keep him back there at bay, but over the next 5 laps, it may be a very, very tough thing to do. That 29 ride has been so strong all day long, but if the 48 can hold him back there at bay, it would be a story to tell. Even if he can come home and hang on to position number 2, which is looking very likely, biting, he has to make that green flag pit stop out there on the racetrack. It would be still a very good run for this 48 ride. I think he was probably only going to pick up a top 3, maybe top 5 run on the day, and now potentially going to park it up in victory lane or up inside the podium here this evening. Could be a hell of a finish for him here today, as strategy games always come into play here, as Kyle Gray, Christian Schrader still just a little over 2 seconds the gap here as the laps continue to get clicked down. We inch closer and closer to that checkered flag. Can Schrader catch him? Can Schrader make the move to get around him here late in this race? As Charles Van Schaik there in position number 3. Hunter Carlson back there in 4th, still has a bit of a gap between himself and Rusty Modesty. And then you see Matt Hayden all the way back there in position number 6. David Traylor there in 7th. Keith Prince in position number 8. Now Prince yet to come down pit side here himself as well. Last down pit road on lap number 34. Now he came down pit side about 2 laps before Kyle Gray, so Gray's got a little bit more fuel than this 3 machine. And as we see Kyle Gray still rolling out there in that 3 ride, and a couple of these other drivers potentially giving some extra hope that he can make it on fuel here this evening. Maybe that's what, cut up some of that race lead. Maybe he realized that he was cutting it a little too close, rolled out of the throttle, tried to save for a couple laps, and then allowed that 29 ride to just catch right back up to him here. And now you do see it is just over 1 second here between Kyle Gray and Christian Schrader. Schrader, nice and easy down through corner number 7 and 8 on the racetrack. They'll head down through corner number 9A and 9B out there on the racetrack and head down into corner number 10. This will be a big passing zone up here. We'll see if Schrader can close that gap, reel him in, as this is probably potentially where we'll see that pass for what could be the race lead. There's a couple areas out there on the racetrack, and you really see the 29 ride shoot it in there deep, gets a big run and gains a ton of time between himself and Kyle Gray right there. Just that corner probably got him him about half a second off of that race lead, and he is there, ladies and gentlemen, as down across the line we see only 3 laps left to go here in this race. Christian Strader, he's been playing with his food here quite a bit this afternoon. We'll see if he was playing with that 48 ride, maybe trying to give a little hope to him there throughout this final run, as now we do see this number 29 ride right there on his back bumper, ready to make some moves, ready to try to steal this race lead back away from the Jimmy Johnson throwback paint scheme 48 ride of Kyle Gray out there on the racetrack. Gray, he's now going to play this blocking game. Schrader's there. Schrader's got the faster car, but if you can try to make your car 6 lanes deep and wide here, maybe you can keep him back there at bay, but no, good veteran move right there. Kyle Gray just knew that he was not as fast as this 29. He was not going to be able to run consistent laps and keep him back there at bay, even with only 2.5 laps of racing left here from Sonoma. Now you see the 48 maybe making a mistake right there. Luckily enough, he was able to have that after Strader got around him, and Strader back out in front and looking to run away with this one, picking right back up where he left off, as he was able to open up a pretty big lead there, the two of these guys, between himself and Charles Van Schaik, our third place driver. Van Schaik about 15 seconds behind our race leader. Hunter Carlson about 25 seconds back here of Christian Strader. Modesty there in 5th. Matt Hayden back in position number 6 in that 6th ride. David Traylor Jr., Keith Prince, Skylar Berry, Clinton Woodby, our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Colton Hardy scored back in 11th with Stephen Luttrell and Joe Yanks bringing up the rear of the field here in this one. As Christian Strader down through corner number 5 and into corner number 6 here. Just does not want to make a mistake, does not want to open up that door, as he has already opened up a sizable lead advantage between himself and Kyle Gray. About 5 seconds now between first and second out there on the racetrack, as Kyle, all of a sudden, he just sees that orange 29 ride pull farther and farther away from him. I think he's just trying to maybe save a little extra fuel here, trying to make sure he makes it to the end, knowing that if he can get out of here with a solid second place run, it's still going to look like a bit of a win here for him today, as he heads down into corner number 11. Christian Strader right there with him. As Strader, oh no, we see Kyle Gray, he can't make it any farther. Gray runs out of fuel, has to take this car down pit side, and potentially speeding penalty there as well, as he came in with a big head of steam. And unfortunately for Kyle Gray, not only having to give up that race lead trying to save fuel, but potentially now going to give up a solid podium run here this evening, looking like he's going to go about a lap short here this evening. We'll have to wait and see. It does look like the 23 rider Charles Van Schaik was able to save enough, and he'll now move up into second. So Van Schaik potentially going to have enough fuel to make it to the end here. Hunter Carlson will move up and into position number 3. So a great break right there for Carlson, as he's looking to join us on the podium. There's only one more lap left to go here from Sonoma. Virtually half a lap left, is already down through corner number 6. Christian Strader with a 17-second lead heads down the hill here at Sonoma, down through corner number 8 and everywhere else, and now headed down through corner number 9A and 9B, down into corner number 10. Only a couple corners left to go here for Christian Strader. As Strader down into the paperclip here, corner number 11 at Sonoma Raceway. Strader in that Reese's Pieces ride will round corner number 11 and into 12 and back down across the line, as Strader will pick up the checkered flag here in the Moza 158 here from Sonoma Raceway. In the Asphalt Outlaws, it is Christian Strader able to pick up another big checkered flag here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner here this evening, as he's able to get it done and find himself up here in victory lane. What a run, what a drive here for Christian all day long. And coming home in position number 2 is Charles Van Schaik. There's the 32 right. Hunter Carlson there in 3rd. Modesty up and into 4th. Matt Hayden down across the line will come home in 5th, with David Traylor Jr. trying to hold on to position number 6 out there on the racetrack, as David down into corner number 11 here. Still waiting for a few of these drivers to even finish their race this evening, as David Traylor rides down through corner number 11. Nice and easy, no mistakes. Back down through corner number 12 and across the line. David Traylor Jr. Jr. will come home in position number 6. Keith Prince right there, he will come home in 7th. Oh, maybe he's got that Johnny Johnson Motorsports ride going for a little bit of contact and skid right there, and now he's going to get taken out from Colton Hardy. Hardy, unfortunately, coming home back there in the 11th position. Here comes Skylar Berry. Berry will finish this race in the 8th position in that 0-8 ride. Kyle Gray in the Lowe's Jimmy Johnson's Monte Carlo machine. Unfortunate break, having to run out of fuel, make that last green flag pit stop. Only one lap shy of the checkered flag here this evening. Comes home in 9th. Clinton would be back there in 10th. Steven Luttrell there in 12th. And Joey Yanks in 13th here this evening. But it's all Christian Schrader. Schrader gets to burn down the house here and celebrate at the beautiful Sonoma Raceway. He will get takes the wine here this evening as he picks up the dub and gets the party hard here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. Heck of a run, heck of a drive, and heck of a performance here this evening, man. That was a ton of fun. That was a heck of a race here today, and we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and in to the broadcast booth as I don't know what's happened here to a couple of these drivers. They all of a sudden have a ton of damage on their race cars, and they're joining this 29 ride, trying to celebrate with them here this evening as we'll get ready to pull them up into the booth in just a couple more moments. It looks like we got some drag racing going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, baby! I didn't realize we were going to have drag races post-race, but here we go. The 5 ride in the 36. They're going to get lined up here. Let's give them a countdown here. Oh, let's get them lined up. 1, 2, 3, and let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's see who's got it. Who's got it? Will it be Rusty Modesty? Will it be Steven Littrell? Who will get the jump right there down and out of the hot zone? It's the 5 ride of Rusty Modesty who takes the early lead down the racetrack. Each of them trying to get down and across the line first. Woo, baby, what a run right there for Modesty. Modesty with the quick time right there does pick up the win here, and unfortunately no parachutes in these race cars. Oh, look out. Oh, both drivers, we need paramedics down there right now helping these drivers out. Oh my gosh, we did not expect that one. Rest in peace. No, I'm just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for these drivers putting on a show for us after not only on the racetrack here for the Moza 158 here this evening in the Full Throttle Outlaws, but give it up for these guys giving us a show post-race as well down there on the drag strip as we get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth.
Anything
hey, Christian, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Aaron?
Not too bad, brother.
Can you hear me?
What a run.
Okay.
What a drive. Sorry, I was taking a drink right there, man, as we were just calling the drag racing down there on the front straightaway as drivers giving us not only a show out there on the racetrack, but also down on the drag strip here this evening as well, man. But, man, it was pretty much your race all night long. Obviously had a very, very fast car, had a great understanding of not only how to run these road courses, but how to run this race car as well, kind of right at the get-go, and you were able to just hit your marks lap after lap after lap, laying some great lap times, fastest lap times out there on the racetrack multiple times, and able to just drive away with a big win here this evening, man. Take us back through it, and what's going to go through your mind right now is you're going to celebrate another big win here in the our Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League.
Man, I'm stoked because it's always fun when you get into a new car and you figure out things out pretty quick. But I'm a little tired. That was quite a workout. This cars are pretty tough around here. They require like a little bit more kind of tossing the car around, throwing the weight, shifting the car, and the wheel really fight. It was a lot of fun, and glad that we could get the win. And other than that, I mean, a little worn out. My arms are tired, a little sweaty. Wish I would have turned my fan on before the race. Forgot to do so.
Burning up. From that. Burning up out there. Yeah, that's definitely a tough one right there. It's never a fun time. But, man, it looked like you were having a fun time out there. Obviously, battling. We made the comment a couple times. It almost seemed like you were playing with your food out there a little bit here a few times out there on the racetrack. Maybe playing with Matt Hayden there a little bit. Not only in that second stage, maybe giving him that stage win as it looked like you could have probably jumped up and potentially stole pulled that stage away from him, and then even as stage 3 kind of got underway, you allowed him to kind of open up a bit of a lead, and all of a sudden it just took you a lap or two. You were right back to his rear bumper, making that move to get back around him there. And then even with that 48 ride late in this race, obviously Kyle was trying to save gas, trying to make it there to the end without having to make that pit stop, and you kind of held back there for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you were right there. I'm not sure if Kyle had to start saving even more, as obviously he still had to come down pit side, but you didn't seem like you were sweating at all out there, man. Just looked like you were playing with your food and having fun with these drivers here this evening.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a little bit, like I like to try to play things a little conservative. I felt like I was fast. I felt like as long as I was consistent, I would get back to the front. And then also it's kind of nice to take a step back and learn from, even if you think you're the faster car and things like that, finding where other drivers are picking up a little time as you kind of get through the middle parts of the race. That way, so when you get to the end, you can kind of learn better than you, where you guys are kind of breaking even, and just kind of seeing how they set their car up versus you, and be able to be your best when it really matters. Same with Kyle. I knew that when I came out of pit road, I really felt like he was probably going to have to pit. I knew he was on the fuel saving strategy, but I knew that first couple laps, get out there, get back into a rhythm. Don't make any mistakes that really could hurt the race. Because if you get off track and I give him 4 or 5, 6 seconds extra, 4 or 5, 6 seconds extra that he's got time to save fuel. So I wanted to kind of get out there, get back into the rhythm. Then once I felt pretty comfortable back out on track, push a little harder, because I knew that if I pushed him a little bit harder, tried to get him to pick up his pace, instead of trying to get him to make a mistake or try to make a move, probably could get him to look at that fuel gauge and feel a little uneasy and want to kind of hand it back over, which he ended up doing. But feel bad for him. I mean, he was so close to making it on fuel. I mean, one lap. It's a long lap though, and so I'm pretty glad to see that everybody kind of, kept it together out there. Felt like we had a pretty good race, and everybody did a good job of getting around the track, getting around clean, and making it a fun race. These cars are tough, but it's a blast driving around road courses. I'm big on road course racing. I like them, and I'm pretty proud of everybody in the league for doing a good job of keeping things out, no pile-ups, and having just a good, clean race and getting us through it.
Absolutely, some good, clean fun here this evening from Sonoma, and you're able to find yourself back up here in victory lane. Christian, who would you like to thank again here this evening for another solid run and solid drive out there on the racetrack and capturing tonight's Moza 158 checkered flag?
I'd like to thank Hunter, Rusty, Matt, Steven. They do a good job of just kind of keeping things together, helping come up with some race strategies and what's going to probably work best. As well as I want to thank Colton for putting everything together. Want to thank you in the booth for doing a good job and just giving us everything every week. And then, of course, all the league sponsors, the Winning Bid, Admin Box, Moza Racing, Metalheads Racing League, Johnny Johnson Motorsports, QH Designs, and Full Throttle Paint Company for kind of coming in and stepping in and sponsoring and helping keep this league running.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Christian, hell of a run, hell of a drive here tonight, brother. We can't wait to see you guys back out on the racetrack next Friday night for some more amazing racing action. Obviously, going from the road courses back to the oval next week, and we'll see if you can find yourself right back up here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be talking to you again next week, and maybe drinking some more Victory beers. Going to go have some of those, maybe a couple Reese's Cups. Have some fun tonight.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy it and enjoy this win, and we'll see you back out there on the racetrack in the next one.
Have a good night, man.
You do. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Christian Strader. Strader picks up the checkered flag here this evening. Hell of a run, hell of a drive there for that 29 machine. As now we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher here, the 23 of Charles Van Shank. We'll pull Charles up here into the broadcast booth right now. Hey, Charles, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Charles, brother, great run, great race here for you, man. Not too many issues. Obviously, we saw some problems early on in this race, but then it seemed like you found your rhythm, your groove out there on the racetrack, and obviously playing a little bit of that strategy game here later on in this race, and you'll use it to your advantage to come home with a solid second place finish, man. Take us back through this race, and what's kind of going through your mind right now is you're able to come home in P2 here this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I bought the car, I don't know, 20 minutes before grid, and just, it felt good. Guess the braking points, I forget the 5 car I got into, so I let them back by, but my wheel was damaged, so I had to go and use my quick repair early. Second stage felt pretty good, and I got up to third. So my strategy was going to be stay out and then pit pit once I was in the fuel window. But then I got a little loose coming off the second to the last right-hander, hit the wall, so then I had to go in and fix that damage. And then once they extended the cautions because of the pace speed or whatever the reason was, and once it was won the lap, at best, if I would have stayed out and raced, at best I was a third, fourth place car. But I figured if I do the fuel strategy, it can't be any worse than that. So I did that, stayed out. I just upshifted. I short shifted basically that whole run there. I tried clutching going into turn one a couple times. Couple times I did it successfully. Other times I almost died. But it was just a points thing. I hate road courses. I'm not good at them. So just stay on the track, and obviously I finished second, so I can't complain. It's like a win for me, anything in the top 5, so I'll take it.
Absolutely, definitely feeling like a win here this evening. Obviously, road course is not a lot of the oval guys' favorite places to go, but whenever you can come here and still have a good time, run that strategy, and it works out for you, and you can salvage some good points and have a good day and jump up here into the broadcast booth post-race, always makes for a better feeling and better environment post-race for yourself. As Charles, a heck of a run, heck of a drive here, and able to park yourself up in position number 2 here tonight, man. Who would you like to thank for a great run and great performance here from Sonoma?
I mean, you for doing the broadcast. I always appreciate that. Anyone that does what you do. The admins for putting on the league. It is a little bit of a niche with the cars and the tracks we run. So it is fun. So if anyone's watching and interested, reach out to any of the admins or even the broadcaster to try to get in touch with the admins. And then obviously to my company, Goat Race and Diecast, goatraceanddiecast.com. Use Goat Racing 23 promo code for 5% off. And then to my teammates over in Turn 4 Racing, Keith and Evan hopped in late. He got stuck at work, so he was just in there hanging out. And Rick and all the other guys, Bill. And yeah, that's it. And all I mean, it was fun. Again, I apologize to, I think it was Rusty, just different braking points, and I couldn't get it slowed down enough. So, but he finished P4, so I mean, it's still a good day for both. But figuring we both basically spun out in the beginning of the first stage.
Absolutely, still able to rebound, still able to battle back from that adversity early in the race, and you park yourself up here in position number 2 here today. Charles, congrats on the great run, congrats on the great drive, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Friday.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely, enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Charles Van Schaik, as Charles comes home in position number 2 here this evening. We'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher as Hunter Carlson comes home in position number 3. Let's pull him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey Hunter, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Hunter, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive here for you, man. Carl looked very, very solid all evening long, up inside the top 5, battling out there on the racetrack, and then late in this race, obviously a pretty good final pit stop for yourself. You were able to come back out, still holding off Rusty Modesty, but you're also able to jump up and get around Matt Hayden. Obviously, Hayden running into issues, trying to get back around you, and it allows you to stay in front of him, and probably could have been a second place car here if it wasn't for that tire or the fuel strategy there from Charles here this evening. As you park it in third, man, take us back through this race and kind of what's going through your mind right now as you join us up here on the podium.
Yeah, well, I didn't know how things were gonna go going into it because obviously new car. Didn't really have any experience up until practice. Found out the car's a little sluggish on the steering, which honestly played a little bit into my hands because I was able to get the car pointed where I wanted to, and my goal through the whole race was try to keep myself out of trouble and just try to be there at the end, try to find some pace. Had a couple issues along the way, but in the end, I felt like the race I ran was about as good as I can get for me. I'm definitely not a road course ringer by any means, but obviously my teammate Christian's helping me some.
Yeah, absolutely. Having good teammates and maybe being able to give you those pointers and help you get a little bit better out there on the racetrack, never a bad thing. And it seems like it worked out pretty good here tonight, man. Obviously, you were able to hold a pretty wheel for most part of this race, running very good, consistent lap times out there. And a lot of times when it comes to these road courses, it's a lot of just keeping yourself on the racetrack. If you can keep yourself out of trouble, stay on the racing surface, and even if you're running, half a second slower than the race leaders or some of the other drivers, as they make mistakes, you're able to just kind of gain positions off of their mishaps out there and able to still have a good, solid day at the racetrack. And this kind of seems like what you're doing for a lot of this evening, just waiting for other people to have those issues where you're able to just move right on around them and not have to deal with them anymore out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this track's very tricky in general, and you put in a little bit of a wild card with a new car. It's kind of a recipe for disaster for a lot of people, and like you said, just trying to keep it on the track. And if you have some sort of pace, you'll probably find yourself top 6, top 7 at the end, and anything can happen in that last stint. And I was able to get a little lucky there with Matt spinning in front of me, and then Kyle having the pit.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're able to pull it up and onto the podium here in Sonoma, and now you guys are going to focus obviously on these new cars and how to run them, not on the road courses anymore, and for a little while get to go back to the oval where it's probably going to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more in your hands and controllable out there, and really able to kind of focus on these cars a little bit more. So it's going to be fun to see you guys back out there on the racetrack next Friday when we go back to the oval, get to see you guys experience these race cars on the oval aspect of things here and not on the road course. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and obviously seeing all of you guys try to learn these cars over the next week and battling next Friday.
For sure, I'm actually really excited to see how these things run in an oval, and I haven't ran any laps on any yet, and I'm sure we're going to put on a show because we're all going to be learning at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait for that. But Hunter, a hell of a run here this evening as you park that Studio 86 ride up here on the podium, brother. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening?
Yeah, I want to thank TJ Spainhour over at Studio 86. He always makes my cars look good. Thank you, buddy. I love you. I want to thank Victory Fuel. Want to save some money at checkout. Use code Chef. Want to thank the B Main podcast. Thank you for them coming on, and want to thank all my teammates down there: Rusty, Matt, Steven, Christian. They all kind of keep me in line, keep me calm, and give me pointers when I'm struggling.
Beauty. Well, teamwork makes the dream work here on iRacing, and here tonight able to come home in position number 3 and join your teammate Christian Strader there on the podium here this evening. Hunter, congrats on the great run, congrats on the great drive, and we can't wait to see you guys back in action next Friday.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher here this evening is Hunter Carlson. Hunter coming home there in position number 3. Solid run, solid drive there for the 32 machine, but unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here tonight. All the racing action has concluded, all the battling, all the back and forth and beating and banging it there on the racetrack has came to an end here today as heck of a run, heck of a drive. Huge shout out to all of our amazing sponsors here with the Full Throttle Outlaws, and huge shout out to Christian Schrader again for picking up the Moza 158 checkered flag here. The race win this afternoon to that 29 ride. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough as well. Everyone tuning in, everyone coming in, showing the love with all the likes, the comments, the shares, any of the new followers, any of the new subscribers. We can't thank you guys enough for coming in and showing the love here throughout the evening. And we can't wait to see you guys back in action and back up in the grandstands, cheering on a lot of drivers tomorrow night as we head back to the racetrack. And we'll be back up here in the broadcast booth tomorrow evening for some more amazing racing in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. We can't wait to see you guys there. Can't wait to see you guys back up in the grandstands, cheering those guys on. And thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll see y'all back here in the next one. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
The engines roar on the blazing sun. Dust flies high when the race is won. The rubber burns on the asphalt plane. Full throttle outlaws breaking the chain. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline popping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Steel beats crowd the thunderstorm. In the heat of the fight we take our form. The flag waves high as the green light call. We live for the rush, the rise, the fall. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline popping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Steel beats growl like a thunderstorm. In the heat of the fight we take our form. The flag waves high as the green light call. We live for the rush, the rise, the fall. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline popping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Racing the night, chasing the glow. Tires screaming with nowhere to go. Victory sweet, but the fight's the prize for the outlaws. The road never lies. We're the kings of the open track. No looking forward, no turning back. Adrenaline popping, hearts in the lead. Full throttle outlaws built for speed. Built for speed. Built for speed. The engines roar on the blazing sun. Dust flies high when the race is won. The rubber burns on the asphalt